Welcome to the LEC Post Game lobby. I'm still Quickshot, joined by Cadril and Larssen. Hello and welcome. Larssen, dude, let me start by saying congratulations. What a dominant performance. How does it feel, smashing Mad Lions and maybe silencing some of the fans on social media and Reddit?
It feels really nice because I haven't been too much on social media. I think I know a lot of the other players in my team and staff around Rogue has been on social media, and there's apparently been a lot of negativity that we're going to Worlds without winning best of 5 and stuff like this. So it feels really good that we stomp a best of 5 and show that we deserve to go to Worlds and deserve to represent EU. So yeah.
Larssen,
nice.
I want you to hear this, and I'd appreciate if you told the rest of the org as well. And this is to the fans, too. Rogue deserved to go to Worlds. I said this during Ready Check, actually, that based on the performance that you and your team and organization have had all year long, you are one of the best teams in Europe, period. That is a fact. You've proven that consistently throughout the year. And had you lost today, you would have got the lowest seed. If it was the same model as last year, on the championship points, you would have got the second seed. So I really like the new format. And honestly, to any fans who are hating and doubting, their proof is in the pudding. Let's turn to today's series. I'm going to start by Cadril. From your perspective, you predicted Rogue to win. You did think it was going to be 3-1. From your perspective, how much better did Rogue perform? And obviously, Mad Lions underperforming as well.
Yeah, everyone doubting Rogue after just losing one best of 5 was crazy to me. I think they were first in the regular split. They were the most consistently good team in the league. And in this best of 5, I just like the fact they adapted, right? They picked up the Evelyn, they picked up the Hecarim. You could see that they've adapted so much in the last week, and they did keep their sort of consistent gameplay where they went for the Azir, they went for the skating junglers like Sejuani and Set in the early game. And then they swapped it up for this best of 5, and Mad Lions had no response. And I think if you put Inspire on a carry, you put Finn on a tank, I think your team's just better. And Larssen, props to Larssen, putting out the Lucian and just popping off.
I mean, that Lucian first game was incredible. The Azir to close it out, beautiful. Larssen, talk to me about Mad Lions' performance. Shadow looked like he was turbo-inting in that final game. And as a whole, Mad Lions just didn't really load onto the Rift.
Feels weird to hear a boomer say turbo-inting.
What was Mad Lions' performance from your perspective, Larssen?
I think they maybe were happy after winning against Mad. Schalke and reaching Worlds. So maybe they didn't have full focus coming into this best of 5, and they maybe underestimated us as well. But I also think we played really, really well today. I don't think it's them playing bad. I think we played really, really well.
It's both sides, right?
We were just in the zone. I felt like everyone's in the zone in the team. But I definitely felt like they didn't have full focus. It was kind of our best of 5 against Fnatic last week.
So yeah, I saw them picking up Nidalee, Graves. He was really first timing these champs, completely running it down a little bit. I think Inspired was mega popping off. So what do you think actually happened against Fnatic? Was it focus for you guys? Was it just the wrong meta read that you had? Because they were obviously prioritizing the Evelyn Hecarim, then the Karthus and stuff like this. So what do you think went wrong?
There's so many things actually. I think we had not that great read on the meta, right? Since we didn't play really Evelyn or Hecarim. We didn't play those farming junglers that much. And we didn't play that much Lucian mid either, for example. I think Fnatic came in with really good drafts with the Lucian mid and AP angle. But most of all, I don't think it's draft was the issue. I think we played really bad. We just played really bad. It wouldn't matter which draft we had, I think. I think we would have lost anyway, just because how bad we played. We had some kind of bad days coming up to the Fnatic game. I was very sick for 3-4 days before the game. And Finn also had some issues outside of the game. And so yeah, it wasn't optimal preparation for the game. And we also underestimated Fnatic quite a bit, I think. Because during the regular season, they looked quite bad. So coming into the game, we didn't really prepare that much. And we felt like we were going to win really easily. But we definitely did not read. So I think it's just a combination of a lot of things. But I think we just underestimated them a lot.
I really appreciate and respect your candidness in those responses, your earnestness in telling the perspective that you've looked at a lot of things. I thought Vander in the losers interview was also very similar, looking internally and also acknowledging where the issues came from. I have to give you credit, Larssen. The turnaround from that performance to this performance is phenomenal. And after game one, Cadril actually said on air that it felt like Rogue were copying Fnatic's homework and executing it exceptionally well. You talked about the meta read. Did you learn a lot from that series? Not only obviously from the defeat, but looking how Fnatic played and how the rest of the series have played out.
Wait, can you repeat the question again?
Yeah, of course.
I cannot
Basically, just trying to ask how much you learned from obviously the defeat to Fnatic, but learning about the meta, seeing what was good. You mentioned you didn't play Lucian. So how much did watching all of these other series help inform what is good in the meta and what Rogue should be playing like you did today?
Yeah, what we noticed mostly was that we played too much scaling, right? We didn't play that much early game, and we just played the kind of the farming mid and the supportive jungler like Trundle, Seth, and these champs. So we kind of decided to play a more aggressive style, which you saw this week. So I think that was like the biggest thing we learned, that we just needed to play more aggressive style.
Got it. Makes a lot of sense. Yeah. I'm Larssen. I'm going to ask you to sit tight for a moment because we do have an extra interview lined up as Law will be checking with Mad Lions coach.
Thank you, Quick Shot. And thank you, Mac, for joining me after this series. Hi.
Hiya.
Any hot reaction about what didn't work out today, maybe?
I think it's a big mix of things. I mean, we're a very young squad, and I'm not very experienced as a head coach yet, so I think a lot of it is on me. I think generally there was a big kind of atmosphere of celebration and relaxation after we qualified for Worlds, right? And I think we got a little bit complacent, and I think our preparation probably wasn't good enough. I also think that we just played really badly today.
Okay.
Like we just had a lot of kind of slip-ups that we wouldn't normally make, and the energy felt a bit off today.
Yes, it gives you things to work on preparing for Worlds, and I don't want to be disrespectful, but you got back-to-back coach of the splits, and you had an amazing performance with a rookie squad. So don't blame yourself too much with this. You still reached Worlds in the end, and they will be playing for the first time for most of them actually, besides Humanoid. So talk me through the World prep, the upcoming World prep, and how they will be ready for the tournament.
Worlds prep is always really fun. There's so much to learn from other teams. So you really have to change your focus from being inward-looking to being very, very outward-looking and really spending as much time as you possibly can. We're obviously going to be going through the play-ins now as well, which means an even greater number of teams and regions that we then have to go and research. So I think we're going to have to be really disciplined with ourselves and really hit the road running when it comes to practice. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of extra factors as well going to China because there's kind of jet lag and things like that to deal with and a lot of logistical stuff. So I think it'll be challenging for sure.
How do you foresee things happening? Because I know it's going to be complex. You guys are going to have to go beforehand to be ready like for 2 weeks before the tournament happens. So how are you anticipating all this? Because that's new. You didn't have this last year at Worlds.
Definitely not. I think it's a huge challenge for players, especially in a young team like ours, because everyone's going to have to be so disciplined with themselves, you know. Like if you're kind of quarantining on your own, which we will be, it's so easy to slip up and I don't know, like not deal with the jet lag properly or not exercise properly. And obviously we're not going to be able to get much like sunlight and things like that. So it's going to be really, really tough to actually stay kind of disciplined and on top of things, I think, because yeah, we're not a very experienced team, but I think we've done a lot of kind of logistical preparation and planning in preparation for it. So fingers crossed it'll be okay.
Okay, that's very good to know. And you keep on mentioning the fact that you don't have a lot of experience, but I recall you were playing at Worlds last year and also in play-ins with Splice. So anything you learned back then that will help you maybe approach play-ins better this year?
That's a really tough question. I think in play-ins, normally the teams that like just play their style are doing the best, right? Like you commit to one style and play it really, really hard, and you kind of have to be willing to bet that the other teams aren't strong enough to be able to punish you super hard for it, which I think has been a weakness for us in the past, playing against really strong teams in Europe, right? Like last split against G2, today against Rogue. Like these teams innovated and adapted around our playstyle to be able to shut us down. And I think that the teams coming through from play-ins generally have less ability to do that.
All right. Well, I wish you the best of luck at Worlds. I have no doubt you will make us all proud. And thank you very much, Mac, for the interview.
Thank you very much.
And back to you, Quick Shot.
Thank you so much, Law and Mac. Absolutely fantastic interview, and I love the fact that straight out the gate, acknowledgement that leadership and maybe coaching could be to blame, as well as the fact the players didn't perform. Now, I committed to making this joke before I saw the interview, and it does feel a little bad. But now that we are done with the series, I took a screenshot of an absolutely incredible meme that I saw, and Kevin was unable to get me a graphic that would fit. So I made him zoom in on this. Kevin saying in my ear that it's my fault. Glad lion, sad lion, more like the kitty cats today. So we turned that one to screen. Thank you very much. Apologies for that very selfish moment. Let's go back to regularly scheduled viewing. Larssen is still with us. Rogue have now secured this spot in the semi-final. You guys are going to face off against G2. You're also guaranteed to go to the World's group stage, which after winning the summer split was likely expected. So let's talk a little bit about both of these things. Let's go with Worlds first. What does it mean to you, Larssen, to know that you get to watch play-ins, you get to see some of the other teams performing, learning some of the meta, and then you guys are going to be starting groups maybe against TSM?
I mean, it's very nice to be in the group stage because the playing stage starts kind of early, so you would not have that much time to prepare for Worlds actually, since you need to go to China and have the quarantine and everything. So playing starts really early, so it will be very hectic, and we wouldn't have that much time to prepare if we went to play-in. So it's really nice to get to learn the meta more. And yeah, I mean, being a group stage and playing all the best teams would be really fun, of course.
And of course, what are your expectations going to be for the Mad Lions? Them starting in play-ins. We know that there's a number of very strong teams that are going to be there. You know, would you have preferred to be in play-ins, to play those games, or is it easier and better to watch them and prepare backstage? And we talked about a little bit about this in Ready Check.
Usually, I think it's kind of better to be in play-ins actually, because you get to play a lot of stage games and to learn the meta. But since it's such a short amount of time you have to prepare before play-ins now, since it starts kind of early, I think, I prefer to be in group stage. But usually it's not that bad to play in play-ins, right?
Yeah.
And I think Mad will, I'm not sure how hard it is to go for play-ins. I didn't really look at it. Is there like a lot of good teams, or?
They're still qualifying. So we've only got 14 or 15 teams qualified right now. A number of regional playoffs are still happening. So I can't say if it's going to be difficult. The thing that I would say is that if you lose games in group and you end up being the second seed, that then has to face a first seed from, you know, one of the other groups, that could be where problems would arise. So, you know, I'm not too certain what's going to be easier, but obviously the stage games, as you mentioned, the extra prep earlier. So there's pros and cons to it, right, Kedril?
Yeah, I kind of have to agree with Larssen. I mean, if it was past years of Worlds, I would say play-ins could be useful because you have these rookies, you get them on the stage, you get the crowd, you get the hype, you can sort of feel the Worlds vibe, and the pressure eases on you a lot slower than if you're just thrown into group stage. But I think with the system this year, I think group stage is obviously better because there's a lot less hectic stuff going on. You can relax a bit more, take some more time off from now until World starts. And I think that's something that some of the teams may need if they have had a really long split.
Yeah, get some rest and recuperation. Let's turn our attention to next week, though. Obviously, we've got the finals coming up. Semi-final on Saturday, finals on Sunday. Before I go to Larssen, Rogue versus G2. This is now the matchup. What do you think of Larssen and Rogue's chances of taking down G2?
Look, Larssen's one of my closest friends. And I'm saying this to him live, but unfortunately I think G2 is just such a good team. But if Rogue can show this form that they did today, and they can keep this sort of summer splits, all these best of ones consistency going, I think they have a pretty good chance, honestly. But I still think G2 is favored. I think it will be a G2 Fnatic final, but I hope Larssen wins personally as a friend.
Larssen, what do you think of your chances next weekend against G2?
If we play like this week, I'm kind of confident that we can win. I think we have good chances. We have never won against G2 though, which is something that people will say, right? And that it's kind of in our head a little bit, I think. But I mean, I think our chances are pretty decent. I think individually they're not performing that well. Besides their solo laners, I think rest of them are not performing as well as they usually are individually. So I think maybe we can exploit them on the individual level. And I mean, obviously they're the favorites, right? Which is fine. It's kind of nice being the underdogs anyway. And hopefully we can break the G2 Fnatic final thing.
Yeah, that would be nice. But I mean, Fnatic was 0-7 against G2 before they started their best of 5, right? So you never know, Rogue might take over.
Yeah, but the thing is, their solo laners are carrying, and I saw what Whippo did to Finn, right? So
Yeah, it was.
that was the change. But also, like Finn today versus Fnatic, like it's completely different.
Yeah.
Larssen, quick question before we start to move on. Have you had a chance to watch many of the other like regional finals and players like LCK or LPL? And if the answer is yes, how do you think European teams will stack up against some of like the Asian regions that obviously have been so dominant for so long?
I mean, this is a really hard question for me, right? I've never played at Worlds, so I'm not really sure how good they are. And when you watch, I watch a bit of LPL and LCK. There's so many games, so it's really hard to watch all of the games. But I watch a bit of them, and in LPL, for example, it seems like they're just handshaking a lot of fights. So maybe if you don't handshake the fights, you can like win against them. And I mean, I'm honestly not sure. It's so hard for me to say how good they are. We just need to play there and then I'll see how good they are.
It's a really unfair question. I realize that. But when you look at the levels of LPL and LCK, from the few games that you have seen, fans at home, we theorize which region, which leagues look better. So if you were to say which regions look better, based on how they play within that region, is that something that you can say right now? Go LPL, LCK, LEC. We'll just focus on those three.
I mean, then I would say LEC is the best. I think LEC can be the best, actually. But usually coming into Worlds, the Western fans are usually underestimating LEC, I think. And since Asia is kind of hype, like you see the Chinese teams, you see the Korea teams, people will hype the Asian teams up a lot. But as we saw the past two Worlds, LEC has performed better than LCK, right? So I know a lot of people are saying that EU will kind of get stoned by Asia or something, but I don't think that will be the case. I think LEC will be very strong this year as well. So
yeah, I kind of agree with Larssen, honestly. I think Europe is looking pretty strong. People just underestimate them. They see Knight and Caster and all this stuff popping off, and they're like, wow, the LPL looks amazing. But we've got some good teams too. I think we're going to do pretty well.
I think so too. I think we actually need to stop talking about this because if we hype everyone up, then we can only get disappointed. Right?
True,
so I think
We're gonna
as a fan here, I think being surprised, being the underdog, like Larssen and Rogue just said, maybe can help us. Anyways, next Saturday, Rogue will take on G2 in that direct elimination match. They are fighting for a spot in the final. I'm not going to ask Larssen this. I already have a prediction here, but I'm going to get a score line. You said you think G2 will win, right? Caps versus Larssen. Talk to me about the laning phase, and then give me which team's going to win the score and the score.
I think it's just super even. I think both Larssen and Caps are super strong. I think, obviously, Larssen, who we've seen throughout the regular split, really prefers his control mages and getting advantages in the lane and then just popping off in fights, whereas Caps sometimes likes to roam around the map. But I think if Larssen has his good matchup, has the push, I think Larssen will do super well against Caps. But I think it'll be pretty even overall. If in terms of scoreline, I think it would go to 5 games. I would favor G2 because they are the favorites, obviously, and they are the best team historically in Europe for the last couple of years. And they are known to step up in best of 5s. And I also feel like against Fnatic, they dropped the ball a bit. I think they'll take this one really, really seriously. So I would favor G2, but I think it could go to 5 games.
I really hope that it does go to 5 games. Larssen, we're running out of time, so I would like to ask you, do you have any message that you'd love to say to the fans, to the Rogue supporters, maybe to some of the haters? I'll leave that to you for our closing thoughts.
I mean, I don't really care about the haters, right? It's just fun to prove them wrong today. But there were a lot of people who also supported us the past week after Fnatic loss. It's I just want to say thank you to everyone who supported us the past week, since we got a lot of hate, right? So yeah, I always say thank you for the people who supported us past week.
Larssen, I would like to say thank you to you personally as well. Thank you for a fantastic performance today. Thank you for playing exceptionally well throughout 2020. And I expect to say thank you for your World's performance as well. Congratulations. I'll see you next Saturday. That's it from us here in Berlin. Be sure to tune into the LCS later tonight as Team Liquid and FlyQuest hit the Rift. We'll be back next Saturday for the last weekend of the LEC 2020 season. See you then.
See you.
Thank you for the carry, Cadril. It's good fun.
I'm known for carrying Boomas.
The auto humanoid with the stopwatch to keep himself alive. There's the arrow hits on Summer. Banda takes the kill.
Comes Inspired.
And here comes Inspired. And there goes Kazi. Kaiser down for the double kill for the push, but you can see it's already down to 4,000 HP and they go in. The engage with an unstoppable onslaught, the damage coming out of Rome is gonna go down. Dawning Shadow not quite enough, but he takes booms as Larssen takes the kill. Kaiser's second on the menu and Rogue. Inspired still trying to step forward. Humanoid almost goes down and Kaiser's low as well. And here comes the charge. Rogue sense it, they smell blood in the water, they take two, and they will look to close out the game. Humanoid's going in, he has the flank, he has the gold card, he locks it straight onto Vander. Minions are pushing the Nexus. Ooh, Larssen! The top mid laner statistically in the regular season! And you thought for a moment Mad Lions had a chance, but Larssen slammed the door right in